Hi, welcome to Astro Babble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology.
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
And today we're going to be talking about the horoscopes for 2023 for the sign of Aquarius.
And we recommend that you read your ascendant horoscope. So that would be applicable for Aquarius ascendants. But if you're an Aquarius sun or moon, of course, you can listen to the horoscopes. But for a more accurate horoscope, you're better off reading your ascendant sign horoscope. And if you're not aware why that's the case, me and Donna did a video, and I'll put a link to that in the description.
Wonderful. And as usual, we will start off with Mars, the one who has no patience, wanting to be first in charge of Aries. Mars has been in retrograde in Gemini. You have been aware of it. And it's been in your fourth house, or your fifth house, sorry. It's been in your fifth house, and this is your house of creativity and children. This planet offers the drive. It offers aggression as well as bleeding, separation, fire, heat. Yeah, it's the challenging aspects of our lives that Mars brings to us, and it will be going direct January 12th. So it will be starting to move on. It still has that forward motion to totally clear Gemini, and it'll be moving into your sixth house March 25th of 2023. Going from your fifth house of Gemini into Cancer is going from a fun, creative house, and the sixth house is a little bit more serious. It runs your illnesses. It also runs your pets. It runs your the people that you work with, the people that you might employ. In a is the better way of saying that. It's the house of service, so it's more of a less intense house for Mars to be in. But it is definitely a house that you need to be concerned with because it does run your health and it does run your illnesses. So Mars being in there, it is a malefic. So if you have any health questions or something's coming up with your health, you'll want to get it checked out more quicker than being lax about it. It's not a time to, say, let's just worry about that next year. It's the time to get it checked out now.
Yeah. We're only touching on Mars moving out of that retrograde phase and moving out of Gemini. Mars will be in other signs during the year, and we'll address that in other podcasts as the year goes on. This is just an overview, but Mars has been in Gemini in your fifth house since the 20th of August 2022. And it doesn't leave until the 25th of March 2023. So it's got about 7 months that it's in that one sign. Because it retrograded in there, it's usually there for about 6 weeks. It's been there, it's going to be there about 7 months all up. As Donna said, it's a fun house. The only thing with when Mars is in the fifth, because the fifth does include children, and Mars is, impatience and aggression, but it's accidents and cuts and stuff like that. So good idea to keep an eye on any kids. It's they can be a little bit more accident prone at this time. Matters to do with romance, creativity, sport, socializing, and kids themselves might have been causing you some grief during the retrograde period, which was from the 30th of October to the 12th of January. Simply because when Mars is retrograde, it wants to go forward, it's got to go backwards, and it gets frustrated. And, Mars is impatient anyway. But yeah, a good way is to kind of channel that energy into some physical activity, like, you know, good to get those kids out and about and being physically active. Good time to be, you know, physically involved with art, or, you know, instead of sitting around drinking with friends, maybe go dancing or something like that, or go hiking or whatever, you know, just being able to channel that energy. Moving into your sixth house will be interesting because Mars does have its joy in the sixth, but, you know, Mars is a malefic, so it kind of likes stirring up trouble. So yeah, kind of your day-to-day routines might be a little bit kind of tetchy too, but yeah, definitely watch out for illnesses and that sort of thing too.
Not a fan of the cha-cha, Mars is. But the next planet that is a malefic is Saturn. And Saturn has been in its own sign. It's been in its own domicile for the last 4.5 years. Because it spends about 2.5 years in each sign, and it's been in, you know, Capricorn and Aquarius is right together. So
Yeah.
that is a lot of Saturn energy. But it will be moving into Pisces come March 7th. And that's going to be moving from your first house into your second house. So yeah, so you know, it's Saturn has been, it's the planet of restriction, it's the planet of no, it's also the planet of foundation and good structure. So if you've been working on the positive aspects of Saturn, then as Lynda was saying earlier, you could get rewarded when Saturn leaves Aquarius and moves into your second house, which is, you know, nobody wants to have their money restricted, but it might be that Saturn is telling you, you know, not right now, hold on to your money for later. So, you know, make sure that you're wanting to spend your money on the things that are important, and that will be the long term. I think that Saturn will allow you to spend money on the long term things.
Yeah,
As
a
opposed
way
to
to kind of utilize Saturn is to kind of build that good foundation. You know, this might be a really good time to draw up a budget if you don't already have one, you know, set that structure in place, you know, X amount for bills, so much for savings, or, you know, investments or whatever. Interesting, Saturn in the first. I've always heard that it can, you know, make you more slender. It'd be interesting. Any Aquarius ascendants out there? Have you lost weight? Because when Saturn was in my first, I had Jupiter there too, so they were fighting, and Jupiter won. But yeah, any Aquarius ascendants, I'd be interested to know if you did lose weight during this Saturn in Aquarius period. You may have been a little bit more, I'm thinking glum or low key, not as bouncy.
vibrant.
Yeah. Saturn kind of can really lower the mood somewhat. Somber, I suppose, is the word I'm looking for, but more perhaps authoritative. Saturn does kind of have that gravitas, I suppose, you know, kind of a little bit of authority, or yeah. And I mean, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn in traditional astrology. So, you know, this is something you're used to.
Which is, you know, nobody can escape, as I say, nobody can escape the planets from being in their chart. It's just, where are they? Yeah, and it'll be nice. March 7th for, you know, Saturn to move into Pisces for you will give you less restriction on yourself. So you'll be able to expand yourself a little bit more. Your finances, however, should be, well, you'll find that they're more curtailed than they have in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, get that budget in place, or somehow try and structure it so that it's working for you while it's in that house, if possible.
Pluto, the planet of change and growth, intensity,
Honesty,
and
depth.
yeah, it will go into Aquarius, moving from Capricorn, and it'll do this over a period of the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It'll go finally.
Pluto's
Yes.
been in Capricorn since 2008. It is going to enter Aquarius on the 23rd of March 2023. But on the 11th of June 2023, it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn, and it'll stay there to the 20th of January 2024, when it will go back into Aquarius. But from the 1st of September 2024 until the 19th of November 2024, it will be in Capricorn again. Pluto moves very, very slowly. After it finally leaves Capricorn on 19th of November 2024, it won't be back for about another 250 years or so. So if you've got planets or chart points at late degrees of Capricorn, you might have to wait until the end of November 2024 before it's finally done with you, because Pluto can go over a point up to 5 times with its retrograde motion. It kind of moves so slowly. It can just really emphasize that part of your chart. And for you, unfortunately, that is the 12th house, which is a really difficult house to start with. This might be dealing with issues to do with addiction, self-undoing, escapism. Could also include things like mysticism, rest and retreat, working behind the scenes. But Pluto wants to transform. It wants to tear down what's not working to rebuild better. So you might have found yourself on a journey, and you might still be going through it at the moment and into 2024, depending where these different chart points in your chart are.
Yeah, it'll take a while for Pluto to fully move and stay in Aquarius.
Yeah,
And that'll be your first house. So plan on, transformation happening with you for the next 20 years.
Yeah. We might get a bit of a taste of it from 23rd of March 2023 to the 11th of June, when it's in there in Aquarius next year. You might get some sort of inkling of what sort of changes it might want to bring you. But that will be first house to do with your health and vitality, your personality, your appearance, how others kind of perceive you. So interesting.
I would think that this would be the most interesting sign to watch
Yeah, quite
because
possibly.
Pluto is so transforming. It can
Mm,
really change, how you think about. I mean, it is a planet of change, a planet of growth for sure. Um, but I think it's the biggest changes. I think Pluto gives the biggest changes as far as, from a circle to a square. I mean, it just,
yeah. And I mean, when Pluto makes contacts to planets in your chart, it can really be quite heavy sometimes. These aren't light and bright usually. Pluto can bring intensity in that, which, depending on where it's in your chart and what contacts are being made, maybe could be good, but it can just be heavy going at the time. But ultimately, it should be for the better. It wants to transform into something better.
very nice. Very interesting. And everybody's going to get an idea
Mm,
of what
mm.
that change is going to do.
Yeah. Just depends what
So
area
yeah.
of the chart it's in. Yeah.
And then we have the greater benefic planet, which is Jupiter. It is the planet that is in charge of expanse and growth and generosity, higher learning. This is going from your third house and it will move into your fourth house. Jupiter's only going to hit 2 of your signs this year because it is one of those outer planets. It's not considered an outer planet, but it is one of the further planets out there that it changes signs, rarely. It will be in Aries for the first half of up till May 16th. It'll be in Aries, and that sign, it does have it is they're both fire planets, or the Aries is the fire sign, Jupiter is a fire planet, so they do have good conversation and good rapport with each other. But when Jupiter goes into Taurus, it's going to go into your fourth house. So it's been in and expanding your siblings and your community. When it goes into your fourth house, you might have an expansion with your home or people you live with, your lineage, and that type of thing. So it's definitely a planet that is good, and being on a pivot or an angle, the fourth angle is will be more impactful for you than, you know, other places and other houses.
Yeah, Jupiter associated with luck, so you might have luck in these areas of your life too. Yeah, generally brings good things, enthusiasm, optimism, generosity. So yeah, while it's in Aries, maybe you might benefit through siblings or neighbors, those in your general community. While it's in the fourth, yeah, you might benefit through parents or, be lucky with a housing situation, real estate, or your living situation. So that will be an interesting change. And then we have Venus. Venus is associated with love and affections, our relationships. It's also art and beauty. And it is also our personal values.
Wonderful. And so January 2nd, she's going to move into your first house. And this is a time where, it's good to change up your look. If you wanted to try a new hairstyle, this would be a great time for that, because, she is in charge and will support the beauty, the artistic, the social, those gifts that she's used to bringing to you. And that's going to happen from January 2nd to January 26th. And on January 26th, she's going to move into your second house, and that's the house of Pisces. She's exalted in this house, so definitely you can definitely count on some kind of financial benefit, or what you value. You can pretty much count on something like that is going to affect you during January 26th to February 20th. Yeah, and then in the third house, she'll be moving into Aries, where she's not as comfortable, and this will be happening on February 20th. And she's not as comfortable in this house because this is the house of her
Detriment. Yeah, detriment.
um
Virgo's the
yeah.
house of her fall.
And in the third house, but she's still a benefit, so this is still going to benefit things that have to do with siblings, cousins, extended family, your community as well. Then she'll, on March 16th, she'll be moving into your fourth house, where she is in domicile. So your fourth house should expect, come March 16th to April 11th, you would expect that you would get a benefic aspect happening in your home, either with people that you're living with, lineage, your family, your homeland, that type of thing.
Great time for decorating the house too, or your living situation. Yeah, good time to beautify it. From the
Exactly.
11th of April to the 7th of May, Venus is going to be in Gemini, which it's not especially strong there, but Gemini is a fun sign for it to be in. Very social, very chatty, and it's going to be in your fifth house, which is a fun house. So yeah, this is associated with your children, creativity, it's romance, it's just all the fun things in life, socializing. Yeah, this should be a really fun time. And then from the 7th of May to the 5th of June, Venus is going to be in Cancer in your sixth house. This sixth house is to do with illness. So hopefully having a benefic, which Venus is, maybe this may ease any issues you may be having regarding illness, hopefully. It's also the house of those that work for us, or it can be co-workers. So your interactions with co-workers should be a little bit more harmonious at this time. it could be a case of a good time to kind of spruce up your workspace. And it's also pets. So, you know, you might be more interested in having, you know, the pet groomed or looked after at this time. From the 5th of June to the 8th of October, Venus is going to be in Leo, which is quite a few months there. And that's because during this time, Venus is going to be retrograde. Venus is going to be retrograde from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September. And if we take into account the retrograde shadow period, that actually extends it from the 19th of June to the 7th of October. During Venus retrograde, we're reevaluating issues to do with Venusian topics. So like our relationships, our affections, our personal values, but also things like beauty and art. This is happening in your 7th house, which does deal with our closest one-on-one relationships. So you may be reassessing your relationship with a significant other. It could also be close friends, but also things like business partnerships or client relationships. Venus retrograde is not usually a good time to embark on a new romance, simply because it usually doesn't work. It usually doesn't last the distance. And that's probably because everybody experiencing the Venus retrograde at the same time. We'll have different houses, but, you know, we're all kind of reassessing what we want in relationships and socialization and beauty and art and our personal values. So we're all undergoing that experience. And, you know, when we come out of that, when Venus goes direct again on the 3rd of September, we might not feel the same way as we did when we first embarked on that relationship. So it can, I'm sure there's exceptions, but it's kind of bucking the trend. Usually, apparently, it's not good.
Wow. And then she's going to move right from her shadow period, October 7th, and go right into the next house, Virgo, the 8th house, October 8th. So you're not going to have a lot of time to while she's in that same house to absorb whatever she's done, because she's moving on. October 8th, she's going to go right into your 8th house, and that's the house of other people's money or your significant other's money. So a benefic could happen as far as you know, loans or trusts might come through, wills and trusts inheritance might come through. Yeah, so very, very, very moving. You know, she's like, you know, quickly moving, because by November 8th, she's going to move into Libra, your 9th house. And that is the house of higher education, esoteric subjects, philosophy, publishing, could be law, the house of as well that is represented by foreigners. So these things you will get a benefit from November 8th to December 4th. And yeah, and then she's going to be moving into your 10th house. And this house, you will find recognition. That's December 4th to December 29th. You'll find recognition in your place of work or what you're known for. This would be the time that Venus would bestow the recognitions, maybe a job promotion as well. And then she's going to move into your 11th house, December 29th. And that is going to be your house of friends, hopes and dreams. And it's the Sagittarius house. So it's, you know, it is considered a good house, one of the good houses. So very wonderful things should happen to you revolving around associations, groups, and people who support you.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, for those that are single, you know, during that time from 29th December, maybe you might find romance in a friend group or other groups that you're associated with. From 4th of December, maybe in the workplace or with those in authority from 8th of November to 4th of December, maybe with people from other countries or other cultures. And from 20th of Feb to 16th March, maybe someone very close, you know, maybe in your local neighborhood.
And yeah, there's going to be 4 eclipses this year for you in starting April 20th, 2023. This is going to be at 29 degrees Aries, and this is happening in your 3rd house. And these ones are going to these series of eclipses are going to happen starting in your 3rd and your 9th house, where they have been in your 10th and 4th house. So they're going to be kind of doing a little bit of a shift. Think back about 18 years ago, what you were doing. So that was be around 2005, according to Lynda.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure I've done that maths right.
So the solar eclipses are more outwardly type of effect on you, where the lunar eclipses are more of an inward type of thing. The eclipses can be there's going to be 2 of them. So one's April 20th, and the next one, the lunar eclipse for the spring, is going to be May 5th. And that's going to be at 14 degrees Scorpio. So that's going to be hitting your 10th house, where it has been hitting. But it's just going to be finishing whatever happened for these last series. This is going to be more internal of a shift.
Yeah, and the 10th house is associated with our career and public reputation. There will be the last of the Taurus Scorpio eclipses on the 28th of October. That will be a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees Taurus, and that will be in your 4th house of parents, home, living condition, real estate, home country, those sorts of things. There will be a solar eclipse, the first Libra eclipse of the new axis that we're on, the Aries Libra axis, on the 14th of October 2023, and that will be in the 9th house of foreign places, people that are very different to you, are kind of expanding your worldview. This is philosophy and religion and other cultures, beliefs, esoteric subjects, higher education, long distance travel, law, publishing, all these sorts of things. Eclipses can kind of come in and kind of be sudden significant changes that can sometimes, you know, change the course of, you know, why, just change the direction you were moving in. It would tend to be more significant if the eclipse degree is making a strong aspect to something in your chart. But the focus is moving from career and home to, you know, what is known to you, what is close and familiar, and what is distant and far and not so familiar to you, more of an adventure as opposed to that comfort of home. So yeah, it could be an interesting time.
As they all are.
So Aquarius, that's your 2023 horoscope. I hope you found it helpful. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you during the year. If you're listening to this and it's just like, oh, that happened, drop us a line. We'd love to hear. Please consider subscribing. We do full and new moon horoscopes every couple of weeks. We go through when planets change signs, the aspects that the major planets are making to each other. And we do eclipse horoscopes too when they come along. So, yeah. And Donna, where can we find you and what services are you offering?
Contact me through DonnaBAstrology.com. I have my contact information there. And I do natal readings, year in advance readings, horary readings, electional readings, as well as I work with crystals in support of health and mental and physical health. And Lynda, what are you doing and where can people get a hold of you?
I am at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. I offer natal readings, relationship readings, and year ahead readings.
Wonderful.
So I hope 2023 treats you well, Aquarius, and all the very best. Thank you
We
for
know you're
listening.
Aquarius. Thank
Ciao.
you.